Good evening everyone, and I thought I'd do a very quick video of where I'm at with some of the Navy builds. Now, the observant amongst you will notice that these are not all Navy aircraft, but given the amphibious littoral combat role of the Malagasy What If Navy, they are in their right place. So really the centerpiece of my Navy is two big blue water carriers. Now there are Maritime Patrol Aircraft, which I'm not covering in this video, and drones and ISR and smaller ships, escort vessels, frigates, destroyers, etc., which I'm not covering. So I'm just focusing on what goes on the big capital ships here. So there are two carriers, and roughly the table is divided into this right-hand section being what would be on the county class air defence escort destroyer, and then onto the carrier. And then the left side is what would be on the amphibious carrier and the amphibious fleet. Now you'll notice that some of these aren't finished. There's a lot of in progression operations going on, but I just wanted to give you a quick flavour. So on the county class air defence destroyer, you have an SC-142, and the SC-142 seems absolutely massive, but if we take my newly finished Merlin and show them together, you'll see that actually the folded dimensions of the SC-142 are pretty similar to a folded Merlin. So it's actually quite a good piece of equipment that never entered service, and this is the folded example. And then I do have an unfolded example, there it is, which is ready for takeoff. Now the centrepiece of the carriers is the F-32s, 27 of those, 9 X-47 or A-47Bs as I'm calling them, the long-range strike drones. Then I've got 2 Buccaneers which I've built. I've got 2 more to do. I'm building an anti-submarine Viking. The Viking does anti-submarine work from the carrier, so it will use its sonar buoys and weapons in there in the bomb bays, and it also does anti-surface role as well. Then I've got my tanker Viking here, which just does tanking. One of the Hawkeyes, I've got another one to build flying. The U-142 carrier on board delivery. The carriers have Merlins, which do combat search and rescue, hence the probe, and plane guard. They are taking over from some of the SH-60s, and the SC-142s are taking over on the counter class from those. Those will still have a role at air bases, naval bases, etc, etc. So 2 more Buccaneers to do, another Viking in the loft to do, and then another Hawkeye to do, and that will give me my carrier flavour. Now let's move on to the amphibious stuff. Now these are based on the LHDs, the large landing helicopter decks, the amphibious carrier, and you've got army assets such as the Zulu Cobras and the UH-1Y Venoms, the SC-142 in the troop transport role, and then the big lift, the MH-53E Pave Dragons at the back. Now, keeping all of that safe, you've got the F-32Bs, which are the VTOL version. You can tell the difference immediately. The VTOL one has a single nose wheel, and the carrier one for the catapult has a catapult bar and a heavier twin nose wheel. So those are the F-32Cs and the F-32Bs. There are some other differences. So the catapult ones have a resting gear underneath, whereas the VTOL ones don't. Now they normally do a short takeoff and landing, not VTOL. Now of course they're replacing the Harriers, but the Harrier is still very much in the game, and here is one of the Harriers that I've got fully modernised, and they're on their final tours, but they're such a good piece of equipment, and while the F-32s take time to work up, the Harriers are doing their role. This is an SC-142, which is these can be deployed on board the amphibious carrier, but the main heavy lifter is the MH-53E. which are my paved dragons, so they have forward-looking infrared. The sponsons give them actually better aerodynamics than the CH-53Es, and if you notice, the K is using sponsons. And here, last but not least, on the carriers, you've got the Hawkeye, because you've got catapults and arresting gear. And on the amphibious carrier with no catapults and arresting gear, you've got the EC-142 airborne early warning. Essentially, they do the same thing as the Hawkeye, but these can take off vertically or short takeoff and landing, more common. And that gives the amphibious carriers a airborne early warning system that they've lost with the Sea Kings going out of service, the Bagger Sea Kings. Now, they could have had the Merlins with the crow's nest, but I want my Merlins to do something slightly different, and I've got another Merlin to build in the loft, which I'll probably do flying or active landing somewhere. So that's just a flavour of the Navy, what's going on in my builds. I've got, as you can see, the F-32Bs are in rapid progression, building up that fleet. I'm probably going to stop with the two C models here, but I want to have a detachment of 6 F-32Bs, and yeah, I hope you like that. It's a flavour of the naval builds. So I've got a lot of work to do. The MPAs are all done, and it's just finishing off these. Take care. Goodbye.